Monday, February 5. Dear Mr. Henshaw, I don't have to pretend to write to Mr. Henshaw anymore. I've learned to say what I think on a piece of paper, and I don't hate my father, either. I can't hate him. Maybe things would be easier if I could. Yesterday, after I hung up on Dad, I flopped down on my bed and cried and swore and pounded my pillow. I felt so terrible about Bandit, riding around with a strange trucker and Dad taking another boy out for pizza when I was all alone in the house with a mildewed bathroom when it was raining outside and I was hungry. The worst part of all was I knew if Dad took someone to a pizza place for dinner, he wouldn't have phoned me at all, no matter what he said. He would have too much fun playing video games. Then I heard Mom's car stop out in front. I hurried, and I washed my face, and I tried to look as if I hadn't been crying, but I couldn't fool Mom. She came to the door of my room and said, "Hi, Lee." I tried to look away, but she came closer in the dim light and said, "What's the matter, Lee?" "Nothing," I said, but she knew better. She sat down and put her arm around me. I tried hard not to cry, but I couldn't help it. "Dad lost Bandit," I finally managed to say. "Oh, Lee," she said, and I blubbered out the whole story, pizza and all. We just sat there a while, and then I said, "Why did you have to go and marry him?" "Because I was in love with him," she said. "Why did you stop?" I asked. "We just got married too young," she said. Growing up in that little valley town with nothing but sagebrush, oil wells, and jackrabbits, there wasn't much to do. I remember at night how I used to look out at the lights of Bakersfield in the distance and wish I could live in a place like that. It looked so big and exciting. It seems funny now, but then it seemed like New York or Paris. After high school, the boys mostly went to work in the oil fields or joined the army, and the girls got married. Some people went to college, but I couldn't get my parents interested in helping me. After graduation, your dad came along in a big truck, and, well, that was that. He was big and handsome, and nothing seemed to bother him. And the way he handled his rig, well, it seemed like a knight in shining armor. Things weren't too happy at home with your grandfather drinking and all, so your dad and I ran off to Las Vegas and got married. I enjoyed riding with him until you came along, and, well, by that time, I had enough of highways and truck stops. I stayed home with you, and he was gone most of the time. I felt a little better when Mom said she was tired of life on the road. Maybe I wasn't to blame after all. I remember, too, how Mom and I were alone a lot and how I hated living in that mobile home. About the only places we ever went were the laundromat and the library. Mom read a lot, and she used to read to me, too. She used to talk a lot about her elementary school principal, who was so excited about reading, she had the whole school celebrate books and authors every April. Now Mom went on. I didn't think playing pinball machines in a tavern on a Saturday night was fun anymore. Maybe I grew up, and your father didn't. Suddenly, Mom began to cry. I felt terrible making Mom cry, so I began to cry some more, and we both cried until she said, "It's not your fault, Lee. You mustn't ever think that. Your dad has many good qualities. We just married too young, and he loves the excitement of life on the road, and I don't." "But he lost Bandit," I said. "He didn't leave the cab door open for him when it was snowing." "Maybe Bandit is just a bum," said Mom. "Some dogs are, you know. Remember how he jumped into your father's cab in the first place? Maybe he was ready to move on to another truck." She could be right, but I didn't like to think so. I was almost afraid to ask the next question, but I did. "Mom, do you still love Dad?" "Please don't ask me," she said. I didn't know what to do, so I just sat there until she wiped her eyes and blew her nose and said, "Come on, Lee, let's go out." So we got into the car and drove to that fried chicken place and picked up a bucket of fried chicken. Then we drove down by the ocean and ate the chicken with the rain sliding down the windshield and the waves breaking on the rocks. There were little cartons of mashed potatoes and gravy in the bucket of chicken, but someone had forgotten the plastic forks. We scooped up the potato with the chicken bones, which made us laugh a little. Mom turned on the windshield wipers, and out in the dark, we could see the white of the breakers. We opened the windows so we could hear them roll in and break, one after the other. You know, said Mom, whenever I watch the waves, I always feel that no matter how bad things seem, life will still go on. That's how I felt too, only I wouldn't have known how to say it, so I just said, yeah. Then we drove home. I feel a whole lot better about Mom. I'm not sure about Dad, even though, as she says, he has good qualities. I don't like to think that Bandit is a bum. Maybe Mom is right.